Here we go then. The truth about Harleen from DC Black Label. You're not going to like it. Or you might appreciate what I'm about to say. I'm all about the truth here on this channel. I'm going to say the things that the geeky channels are not going to say. And I'm going to give you a different point of view in regards to what's happening, not just in this book, but all the bloody comic books, because there is consensus going on and there are certain things that they cannot discuss, cannot talk about and portray in the pages of the comic books. So what I do is I read between the lines and I tell you the truth in relation to what's actually happening in the real world today, which is quite important, don't you think? Anyway, so the front cover, I got the alternative cover here. And this character, Poison Ivy, makes a brief appearance. I just want to say something about her before I get into the book. Imagine the interesting stories they could do with a crazy environmentalist character in DC Comics today. A Greta type of character, invited to the United Nations to give a crazy speech about how we need to stop breeding in European countries only for the benefit of the planet. An evil person, perhaps a deluded person, manipulated by forces that she does not understand. You could do that with the villainous character of Poison Ivy. They will never do that with Poison Ivy. Why? Because the green movement is a watermelon. It's green on the outside and it's red on the inside. And the people writing these comic books and the corporations that fund it all are a bunch of commies themselves. They actually agree with the villain. They agree with Poison Ivy. Okay, so let's have a look at the book Harley Quinn. I got a lot to say about you, young or not so young lady, because she's actually portrayed as being in her early 30s in this book. So the book, the story, what's going on. But it's all from her point of view, and she talks a lot about herself. She is very, very self-obsessed. And what is she worried about? Well, one thing and one thing only. Her career. She is 30 years old, I think. Let's have a look here. Yeah, 30-year-old psychiatrist, single, one friend, no pets, that's a bit unusual, where are your cats? And family is 6 states away. Her family does not make an appearance in this book at all, by the way. I don't know why. And let's face it, we've all got these mobile devices today, do we not? So you can talk to mummy and daddy and your brothers and sisters whenever you want, can't you? You can have video messaging. But I don't see, I don't know if I missed it, but it's a blinking VHS tape. I didn't see any examples of eye technology in this book. Is it set in the 1980s? How old is Harley Quinn today? Is she in her 50s? Is she, my age? Anyway, so she hasn't got any technology to contact her family. And that's very important, because it means that she doesn't get any advice at all. And there's no daddy in her life. This is her friend, by the way. Basically a drinking partner, and the life they're living is life of single blokes in the city. There's no concern here coming from Harley that the biological clock is ticking away. At the age of 30, she hasn't got a good man in her life. There's no boyfriend, there's certainly no husband, because not a lot of husbands in comics today, and there's no children, right? So all she's got is her career and a stupid theory about empathy. So what she wants, right? What career lady Harley wants is a grant. She wants money. To quote Owen Benjamin, she's chasing the fancy pants and lollipops in the city. It's not making her a happy person. So her theory is to do with empathy, right? This is why there's a crime problem in the big cities in the comic book universe today. It's all to do with traumatized people losing their ability to have the feels for everybody else. I don't know what she intends to do with this theory, right? She says that she wants to identify sociopaths in the making. So is it some sort of pre-crime thing? What are you going to do? Are you going to identify people who have been traumatized, people like ex-soldiers, and then what? Lock them up? Or just talk some empathy into them? Maybe inject them with an empathy solution? It doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to me like it's just a load of old nonsense. So what makes even less sense is that Batman's man, is it Lucius Fox, hears her nonsense and thinks, well, she's obviously talking a lot of sense here. Batman's going to be interested in this. I'm going to fund her. That happens later on in the book, by the way. He pops up and says, yeah, I'm going to fund your nonsense research. Shall we talk about the truth about crime in the city today? Is that advisable, Rorschach here on Google? I'll do it, but I won't be direct about it. Let's just say that when you look at the crime rates in the big cities today, there is a certain demographic who is committing most of these crimes, and the demographic appears to be enabled by the modern welfare state. The people committing the crime come from families who are on a certain plantation and vote the right way. Well, it's the left way, if you know what I mean. If you compare the crime rates of the big multicultural cities in the West to largely homogenous white countries in Scandinavia, you'll notice there's a bit of a difference there. But that's never ever going to be discussed in the pages of a comic book or Netflix or in Hollywood or in academia, actually. Yeah, you're not going to get a grant for doing that research. But if you talk about empathy like this, then I guess you can get a grant from people who don't really want to solve the problem. But Batman, I guess, does want to solve the problem, so it's a bit weird that he'd be funding this nonsense research. Perhaps the truth about Batman is that he doesn't really want to solve the problems of crime in Gotham, because if there's no crime in Gotham, what would Batman do? If there's no crime in the cities, what would the state do? It'd have to shrink, wouldn't it? And the left wouldn't need to control every aspect of your life. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to do with the real world crime, who's causing it and who's enabling it. Anyway, back to the story. So gradually, as you might expect, Harleen Quinzel gets obsessed with the Joker character. She gets the job in Arkham, thanks to this twit. It is Lucius Fox, isn't it? And I'm thinking, right, seeing this image here of Joker being just over 6 foot. He's got a lovely head of hair. He's got a chiseled jawline. He's very, very self-confident. He's intelligent. He's high status. He's basically a high status crime lord. Why would a woman in her early 30s who hasn't got a boyfriend, hasn't got any male influence in her life, has got nothing but a career, why would she not fall for somebody like this? It makes perfect sense to me, right? How come these people do not recognise it? The last thing that you'd want to do is have her talk to him, because you know that she is going to fall for him. Seems pretty bloody obvious to me. Particularly if you're a psychiatrist like this guy here. Would you not understand this? Would you not understand female nature? How it's hypergamous. How females look for guys who've got more status than them. This guy has more status than her. This guy's he's like a celebrity, really. So she's 30, lonely. Those eggs are drying up. Dude, do you not understand the females at all? So the inevitable happens, and there's a moment there with what's her face, Poison Ivy, which I talked about a few minutes ago. Yeah, a character they could do a lot with, but they will not do anything with that. A guest appearance by Bane as well. And as the book concludes, the inevitable happens. They get together. Actually, I want to talk about Harvey Dent for a second, right? Harvey Dent actually is another guy who Harley Quinn might actually fall for, in the real world, because again his status, his head of hair. I'm sure he's over 6 foot, etc. But anyway, he says to her, tells her the truth. He tells her that her theory is total and utter nonsense. You publish your research, and every defence lawyer looking to build a career will jump on it like a rabid dog, and before you know it, every trial will be nothing but lawyers telling some sob story about how their clients lost their ability to feel empathy. And then something strange happens. This lady who's been diffident, kind of scatterbrained and lacking in self-confidence throughout, which is actually pretty understandable because she's a vulnerable young lady in the city all alone. She then turns into Ms. Superconfidence. Get yourself a regular old coin, Mr. Dent. It may make you see the world differently. Oh, and I'm not backing off. In fact, I'm just getting started. That's a bit of a personality transplant. This is not the same person that I was reading throughout the majority of the book. So, yeah, the tone in the character here changes from, look at this girl, she's drinking, she's full of anxiety, she can't sleep, and all of a sudden she's super self-confident. I don't know, it just happened too fast for me there. I don't think that was very good writing. So yeah, the moment that we all expected to happen happens, and the lonely single girl in the city, she falls for the tall, dark, handsome stranger because, female hypergamy. So that's the truth about Harleen, book 1 from DC Comics. There's a lot of truth here about female nature, but you've got to read between the lines, because obviously the last thing that a big corporation like DC wants to do is criticise the idea that true happiness for females today lies in the cubicle life, in the career life, in the city life. It doesn't, of course. If you watch an Owen Benjamin video and you see just how happy his wife is, you'll see where true happiness lies. And true happiness lies, young ladies, with a good man, a provider, a protector, and children. No children in this book, no happiness in this book, but it's not explicitly stated that that's her problem. You have to be a bit based to actually read that message in the text. Okay, so that's what I made of it. What did you make of it? Please let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for checking out the video. Please like and subscribe to my silly little channel if you'd be so kind, and hit the bell for instant updates, because Google likes to bury people like me because well, what I've just said not exactly corporate friendly, is it? Okay guys, cheers, take care, and I'll catch you all later.